you can join us. I'm interviewing Willis Turner, president of SMEI. And Willis, you became very excited about a new program that you welcomed. But first of all, I want to warn everybody, because we are doing a kind of an experiment here with a new software called BeLive.tv, if I'm correct, Willis. And maybe some things will go wrong, but we will experience this. But Willis Turner, please enlighten us about the Peak Performance Mindset program that you are very enthusiastic about it.
Well, welcome everyone, and thank you, Ben, for hosting this on the SMEI Facebook page. We're excited to be doing this live event, and welcome everyone who's attending. So the Peak Performance Mindset program is something that has been developed based on the 30 years of experience of Gerhard Schwantner, who is the founder and publisher of Selling Power and the creator of the Sales 3.0 conferences. And he's been a renowned thought leader in sales and sales management for many years. He's actually trained thousands of salespeople himself. He came from Europe and established himself in the US many years ago, and has really been at the forefront of sales management and new thought. And so this is a powerful system that has been developed to harness the power of cognitive psychology and neuroscience to help people improve their sales performance and lead a happier life. So that's just a little thumbnail of the background of this program.
So if I understand you correctly, Willis, is that first of all, there's a lot of experience embedded because Gerhard Schwantner is not just another trainer, but well recognized for all his insights and thoughts. And as a trainer in the beginning, I understood, but also by interviewing thousands of people, I think by now, and putting all the best practices of himself and what he saw with others together in one program. To get a little bit more of a better impression about what it all is about, because it intrigues me. How does the Peak Performance Mindset kind of start? What's the base?
Well, it really starts with capturing your dreams and your goals and turning them into reality, Ben. Many of us have dreams. We don't maybe formalize those or put them down in writing. We did a survey on an event that we did regarding this Peak Performance Mindset a few days ago, and we asked the audience how many of them had written goals, and 50% said they did, 50% said they did not. And so you can see that there's some room for improvement here. And in the Peak Performance Mindset program, we teach the workshop participants how to actually turn those dreams and realities into something concrete that will help them improve their performance.
So if I understand you correctly, it's about making things, real. The things that you kind of expand the boundaries of your self-limitations, things that you think are not possible or maybe are possible, and that you kind of stretch yourself. Is that the core?
Yeah, that's true. And we have one job in life, really, and that's to be the best we can be. And many of us can kind of slide by doing the minimum and still get by. But what fun is there in that? And what fulfillment is there in that? There really isn't any. And, we are actually held back and we're limited by that kind of thinking. And so mindfulness helps us to bring our entire being into the moment and apply all of our abilities to achieving our dreams and goals.
It's for anyone who's joining us right now. We're talking to Willis Turner, president of SMEI, one of the persons who's has embraced the Peak Performance Mindset program, one of the fastest growing sales training programs at this moment. And what I like about it so far, what I heard is that it's not only for salespeople. It's I think a lot of people will love it and like it. It's a mindset that's much wider, but especially for salespeople. Do I put that right?
Yes, it is. Mindfulness is a very big concept that has been embraced by a lot of people, but we're talking specifically about applying it to sales and sales management. So it's really key. It's a key thing, because when we think about our thoughts, you know, our brain processes thousands and thousands of thoughts every single hour, you know, in every single day. And it's proven that over 80% of those thoughts are negative. And so how do we turn that around and focus on the positive thoughts, and how do we embrace those and banish those negative thoughts? That's really key.
Is that, but have we kind of progressing now to another question that is on my mind, and maybe this is related to it. What are the growth drivers that lay below the surface of this program, Willis?
Well, sure, that's a good question, Ben. And there's three different drivers. One is the implanted mindset, the imprinted mindset, and the inspired mindset. And so when you think about how we've actually evolved as individuals, you know, we've grown up under the influence of our parents and our peers and our friends. And sometimes those influences are negative. And, you know, if you may not even know why you're struggling with the kind of mindset that you need, the inspired mindset, which we should try to achieve. We may not know what the roadblocks are. But in our program, we're going to dig deeper into those imprinted and implanted mindsets that are barriers to success, the self-limited thinking that we don't even, sometimes we're not aware of what's causing those issues. And we're going to dig a little deeper into those and find out how can we move from those implanted and imprinted mindsets that are holding us back and move into the inspired mindset space. You know, perhaps we feel like we're not good enough because we didn't get the approval of our father. And we may not even know that. We might still be seeking that, and even in an adult life, and seeking for something that we don't know is implanted and imprinted in our brains so deeply. So those are some of the things, the limits that we're going to be talking about.
It's once again for anybody who is joining us right now, because I see that the audience is getting bigger and bigger. We are talking this moment to Willis Turner, president of SMEI, and one of the people who embraces the new peak performance mindset program, or new program. It's a program that didn't exist before, and this program is kind of combining all the best practices from the last 30 years, we could say. And the thing is that it's an interesting combination between one side peak performance, but also mindfulness. You mentioned that term a couple of times, and is that not kind of a paradox that those two things are combined in one program? And because mindfulness is kind of, you know, we kind of go up into the skies sometimes and look at it from that perspective. And sales is a very target-driven, performance-based profession. So how do those things connect and relate with each other?
Well, that's a good question, and I believe that when we think about the space that we need to be in that inspired mindset for selling, and the mindfulness that we need to bring to that, we need to be able to clear out those negative thoughts and some of that background that's going on in our brain that's trying to control. And this is where we get to that next phase of the mindfulness program, the peak performance mindset, is understanding that there is a inner CEO inside of our brain. And that inner CEO is going to be the executive power that decides what we do. And so how we think, how we act. And so we need to tune into that inner CEO and let that drive, rather than all of those background things, Ben, that try to disturb our thinking and try to set us up for failure.
Actually, it's mindfulness in a controlled way. It's trying to make sense of that, and then, but we are talking about self-talk basically, if I understand you correctly, and how do we control that then?
Well, that's through that inner CEO, really tapping into the inner CEO and realizing when you have negative self-talk. So I'm just going to ask you and those who are on the live program with us, and for those in the future who will be watching this on the video, just take a moment and take a deep breath and relax your shoulders. And so, Ben, what did you notice when you did that?
Well, that it kind of, only that movement alone already kind of, relaxes me, kind of put things in a more comfortable perspective. And the other thing is that I want to take my jacket off now, but that's another side effect.
But did you notice when you started to relax your shoulders that they were actually a bit tense?
Yeah, that I pulled them up too much. Kind of like there was a lot of space by letting them go downwards. Yeah.
So when you do that exercise, you're actually getting into the mindset of that inspired mindset, because you're actually now noticing things. Your body was tense and you didn't even think about it. You weren't aware. And so you've brought that to the attention of the inner CEO. And the inner CEO is telling you, okay, let's just take a moment here. Let's relax those muscles, because holding that tension is actually negative. And so you can do that to your whole body. You can start with your toes on your left foot and your toes on your right foot. And with each breath you exhale, just let those muscles relax and move it up your body all the way to the top of your head. And you will realize that you have control over those muscles and over that tension. And you will realize that you actually were tense and you didn't know it. And so we hold this tension in our body, and it actually holds us back. So it's not just about the mindset has a powerful control over our entire body. When you think about today, there's a lot of mindfulness around your whole body, your health, the food that you eat being like medicine, being more tuned into what you're eating, being more tuned into to exercise and taking care of your body. Your mind has a powerful control over that, but your body helps your mind. It helps to feed your mind and stimulate your mind if you take care of it. So we want to be mindful of that. We want to bring that mindfulness, because a whole body works better than a broken body. And all the things that we can do to help our natural body perform at its peak performance is going to help us in our professional life as well. And if you take a look at the very successful people, and maybe some that you think of as role models, they're very active people. They're very in tune with this. Look at people like Richard Branson, who is probably the embodiment of mindfulness, and he's in a peak performance mindset. He doesn't, you can see that his life is on purpose. So there's some really good examples out there of the role models that we can kind of bring to mind when we're thinking about this, and think, that is probably something that I should pay attention to. Maybe I should study that a little bit more. Maybe I should read some biographies about some of these people and how they actually perform.
Okay, for anybody who's tuning in at this moment, we're still talking to Willis Turner about the Peak Performance Mindset program. And if I understand you correctly, Willis, it's a program that helps us to get in sync with you're talking about, okay, if you feel better, if you feel more comfortable, that will have an effect on your performance, and the other way around, and that this program can help you to be more in control, and at the same time, because you're more in control, more in sync, you will also be more relaxed, and because you are more relaxed, it's easier to perform. Is that the circle that this program helps people into?
Yes, that's true, Ben. And when you think about the things that can hinder your performance, there's a lot of things that can hinder your performance, your mind, your negative thinking. But if your body isn't healthy and if you're not feeling good, that's going to hinder your performance as well. You're not going to bring your A game. And we have so many great opportunities in sales and sales management to bring our A game. Why would we want to bring the B game to the table? When you think about who would you like to do business with? Who would you like, if you were the buyer and someone is sitting across the table from you, would you like to do business with someone who is a little sloppy, maybe a little bit overweight? Their pallor isn't healthy. They look like they're not taking care of their body. And they're a little bit slow to the take. Their mind isn't thinking clearly, so that they can't comprehend and respond the way they should. You can just tell they're not bringing their A game. Would you like to deal with them, or would you like to deal with somebody like Richard Branson across the table from you selling you on a concept? And you gravitate. Those kinds of people are magnetic. They pull you in because you want to be with them. They're exciting people to be with. They give off a very positive vibe. And so when you bring your A game to the table as a sales professional, whether you're in management, and it's even more key, I think, if you're in management, is you're a leader. People will follow. And when you're a leader, people look to you as a mentor, as a role model. And if you're bringing your B game to the table, they'll bring their B game. But if you bring your A game, they'll bring their A game.
Very true. Is there any, because we are still in the sales community, we like facts and figures, Willis, even when we talk about mindful mindsets. Are there any figures that show that this also brings in some productivity, some results for a company of the? Yeah.
Definitely, there are some great statistics to show that happy people sell 38% more.
38% more when you have a happy mindset. Okay. And that goes a little bit further. The happy mindset, that just thinking along, I'm happy all day. It takes a little bit more energy, I understand. To get that far.
The happiness is not superficial in this case. The happiness comes from bringing your A game and being at your peak performance. And so when you have this kind of life happening for you, it produces dopamine in your brain, and it's a reward. It helps, it stimulates you. And it's not an external kind of a motivation. It's not something that something external, some physical thing that's motivating you. It's actually a feeling inside. And you're now in the inspired mindset, and you're happier because you're there. And those results actually also feed the happiness. And so you're totally, truly happy. And it brings you to the point where the mindset science says happy people sell 38% more. And we've had actually people go through this workshop program and have come out on the other side and have had phenomenal sales results that they didn't have before, because they started to break through some of these barriers that they were experiencing in the past.
So I'm sorry, Willis.
Yeah, there's one great testimonial of a woman who went through this peak performance program, and she went out in one for the very first time. Well, that is just pretty spectacular, because she brought this peak performance mind, and she said, now I can apply those same principles. It gave her the confidence, applying those same principles to her professional life to improve her sales, and some more than 100% increase in sales as a result of bringing the peak performance mindset to their game.
Wow, that's amazing. And I think when we're thinking about this, and when we listen to you, Willis, and by the way, anybody who tunes in at this moment, we're talking to Willis Turner, from President SMEI. We're talking about the Peak Performance Mindset Program, one of the fastest growing sales training programs, or let's say training programs, and so that's also applicable for salespeople. That happiness has and that you are in sync with everything has a big effect on your performance. And I think every salesperson recognizes that when you feel great, when you scored in the morning, you will be invincible that day, and you pursue. And if you don't feel so good, you have one of those days that it's not your day, like we say here, that it can kind of pulls you down, and you also see that in the results. And what I understand from you, Willis, is that it's not a coincidence anymore to get in that peak state, but that you actually can control that and control the outcomes much better. That's if we kind of put it in a little box, that's what I get out of what you were saying right now. Is that true?
Yes, and let's liken that to an analogy of an athlete. When you think about athletes and they get into a mindset, they get into a peak performance mindset before their performance. And you can see sometimes it's really obvious that they have some little things that they do, some little rituals or something that helps them to get into that peak performance mindset. But also when you think about, this is something that's much bigger, and athletes go through this as well. They have to know the why. Why am I doing this? Is it strictly to win the game? Because if it's strictly to win the game, you're not in the peak performance mindset. But if you have a bigger goal, for example, there was a golfer who was very good, but he wasn't winning, and he was struggling, and his goal going out was to win. He wanted to be the champion golfer, and it wasn't working. And so he got in touch with his inner CEO, and they had a little talk, and he decided that his why needed to be different. And so he changed his why, and his why became, I'm going to just get better every game. That's my goal. I want to be the best personally that I can be. Never mind how it's going to compare with other people. You see, Ben, one of the things that in the peak performance mindset that we learn is that we don't need other people to make us complete. And that sometimes is a big stumbling block. We think, oh, I need the adoration, or I need people to like me. And if they don't like me, then I'm not complete. And that's negative self-talk. Because then if we face negativity and from the buyer, or some negative feedback from our manager or our peers, we get into this situation where we think we're not good enough, and we're less than perfect. And so we need to have that self-confidence inside of us. And just like that golfer who says, I'm not so concerned about winning against someone else. I want to just be the best I can be. And so you bring that mindset into the sales arena, and you realize how much more potential you could have if you're not relying on other people to be successful.
I think, Willis, that I understand now more why you are so enthusiastic about this program, because there are a lot of things that we know that would help us, but how do we get a grip on it? How do we do this? And I get the impression that you as a certified trainer of this program can help us in getting that grip, in getting into control with all those nice side effects in performance-wise. But performance is a wide range, I understand. It's not only in your job, but it's also in your well-being, in your private life, in just feeling great. If people want to learn more about this, or they want to participate in this program, how do they do that?
Well, we have a couple of different options available, and we have been showing some websites on the screen. I'm going to show you one now for the Netherlands, because we actually have a workshop, a one-day peak performance mindset workshop coming up in the Netherlands in May, and we would love to have you attend if you are able to. If you're coming from anywhere in the world, actually, you're welcome to attend this program. It's a one-day program. One of the things that you'll find in this program is that you will learn a lot from other people as well. And just the dynamic of getting together with people who are really focused on this peak performance mindset. You're in the room with a lot of positive on being the best that they can be. And it turns the dynamic and the energy in the room is something very, very powerful. So it's not just the learning concepts that you get. I'd also like to just take a moment now, because I know we have a few people live on this event with us. That if you have any questions, just put them in the comments, and we'd be happy to address those. We'd love to hear your questions as well. One of the things also that you're going to find from this workshop, Ben, is we have a 100-page workbook, mindset workbook, that we will be going through this workbook, very comprehensive, and it's yours to write in and keep some notes so that you can take this concept back with you. And the other thing is that we're not going to leave you alone after the workshop. We actually have a 200-page journal that is yours process, a journal that you can use to reinforce, because one of the things about a peak performance mindset, and when you're working with your inner CEO, is create those success habits, so that once you've done it a few times, it just becomes more natural. And so the journal is actually going to reinforce that as you go through the 12 weeks following. And we're going to support you with some videos, some books to read as well, to support your mindset and help you become that peak performance achiever that you want to be.
So if I understand you correctly, it's not only that one day, the training itself, but it's a whole program. It's the day is the kickoff, and then after that, together with the workbook and everything, you will start on developing it and making it better and successful.
Yeah, sure. And we are really keen that this is not just a one-day program. This is a change that's going to impact the rest of your life, not just professionally, but also in your personal relationship. These key learning concepts to your personal relationships as well. And you get into that mindset as a lifestyle. So we're showing on the screen right now the web address for the workshop in the Netherlands, and you can participate in that. We'll also show you there are a lot of resources that we have available for you. And we're going to put another website on the screen that will help you, give you more resources. We've got a 1-hour video where we had a presentation by the founder of this program, Gerhard Schwantner, and we encourage you to watch that. If you can set aside the time, it'll take you about 55 minutes to go through that, but it'll give you a lot more information, and then you can take that information. There's actually 5 steps at the end of the video that you can start right away. But we're going to go into those 5 things in a lot more detail when we do the one-day program. And these programs are available in the Netherlands. Also, we have them in Canada, and we will be bringing them to the US in the fall of this year. And so if you don't see one on our calendar on the website that's on the screen right now, we encourage you to write to us, email us, call us, and ask us.
Well, Willis, this was very exciting, and I'm looking forward to participate in the class. And I think there are a lot of people with us who are looking forward to this too. I would like to thank you, Willis. Is there anything else that you would like to add before I say goodbye to the audience?
Well, I just think that one thing, I'll leave you with this thought. See if you can get in touch with that inner CEO, have a little chat. It will help you to control your emotions, your negative self-talk, and really focus on bringing that mindfulness every day. And the other thing that I would love for you to do, if you have an Instagram account, is to follow us on Instagram at SMEI.org, SMEI.org on Instagram. And we're giving out one mindfulness inspiration every day with a nice little image. And so we encourage you, if you need a little encouragement, a little bit of motivation, if you follow that, you will get one little tip every day to help you be more mindful.
That's great, Willis. Well, this was Ben Mastboom from SMEI Broadcasting from Rotterdam on the background, and Willis Turner from the Brooklyn Bridge. No, Vancouver, if I'm correct, Willis. Willis, thank you very much once again, and looking forward to see everybody together in one of the many workshops, and especially the one that's coming up in the Netherlands on the 9th of May, if I'm correct. Thank you very much, everybody, and have a great day, great night, wherever you are.
Thank you, Ben.